Hello, this is Ken Guscott, and I'm going to show you how to find your way around DB2000 and how to use its various features. First of all, the DB2000 database is quite a large one, and each member has a lot of columns associated with his record. So in order to make this a little easier to use, the database has been broken into groups. The basic names, addresses, and so on are kept in the grid called roster. Education information and merit marks is kept in the grid called grade. History is where the members came from, the date they joined, any previous squadron history. COM is Communications Central for DB2000 and contains all of the telephone, cell phone, email addresses, business phones, so forth. Boats is simply for boat owners to keep their statistics in. User-defined fields is a place where you can make fields for your own needs and add them to the database. Org is the organization structure of your district or squadron, and merit marks is where you make your merit mark recommendations. DB2000 has extensive context-sensitive help files. From anywhere in the program, when you need help, if you press the F1 key on your keyboard, help related to the topic that you are working with will be shown. You can also start help from the help menu, and here you can see quite a few things that would help you. About just tells you what the revision of the program is. Historian form brings up the help associated with the historian form should be using it. Demos, you're watching one now, can be shown from this, and you can go online with DB2000 to get updates, other useful documents, or go to the Power Squadron homepage or learn about Boating Course Assistant, which is another program that is offered by headquarters. Now we'll take a look at the grid structure. I'm going to open the roster grid, and you can see that the members' records are held in a grid, and the grid has headers on it on each column, which tells you what the column data is, but also you'll notice that they are color-coded. The columns that are color-coded red is data that is kept entirely by headquarters. This data cannot be edited from within DB2000. The green header cells indicate that the squadron is responsible for the information in this record, in this column, and therefore the column can be edited, and must be edited actually by the updater in your squadron to keep the headquarters computer up to date with what is going on in your squadron. Yellow headers indicate that they are local to the database that you are using. They are not uploaded or downloaded from headquarters. They can be edited, and they have multiple uses. Sometimes they are used to provide functionality to the database. Other times they just hold data. You can move around the grid in two different ways. You can click on a cell with your mouse, and that will select a cell. And you can click on a row so that you can read it more easily when you pan out to the other side of the grid. Sometimes you lose sight of what you're doing. You can also use the keyboard for navigating around the grid, and sometimes, since this is a word-based program, using the keyboard to get around is often easier than using the mouse. To edit the data in a cell, You can do this in two different ways. You can either click on the cell to edit it, to select it, double click to enter the editing mode. Notice that the color has changed now and it's pink. Now I can edit this information. Let's just change the west to north, and then I double click on the cell again and the editing is accomplished. You can also get into the editing mode by pressing the Enter key on the keyboard, and this is usually easier to do. I'll just put this back the way it was, and then press Enter again. The last thing I want to show you is the tag column. The tag column is located right at the beginning of the grid and is used to select members that you want to interact with using the various features of DB2000, writing reports or whatever function is being used. Each grid contains a box at the top which enables you to manipulate the tags. Tag all does just that, clear all, and to actually tag individual records you can either double click, or better still, you can just use the arrow keys on the keyboard with the Enter key. You can invert the tags, and that can be useful sometimes. You can delete tagged records, and if you have panned out to some place on the grid where the tag column is not visible, you can tag a record by just doing the tag button, individual tag button here. This tells you whether it's tagged or untagged. It's inverted, of course. Untag means to untag it, and tag means to tag it. So returning over here, you see we have made this tag. Okay, we'll get out of the grid. I've given you a brief overview of the navigation around DB2000.